Louisiana All American Sports Show. 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 Louisiana. If the sports you wanna talk about, then listen to the hottest show that's coming out the South. It's Eric Hatfield and Coach Perry Daniels, man. They're gonna sit you down and tell you all about the game and make it plain. 96.9 FM, that's the station. To hear the best sports talk show in the nation. Without hesitation, you should get with this and get your popcorn ready for you better not miss. Louisiana All American Sports Show. Louisiana All American Sports Show. Louisiana All American Sports Show. Louisiana. It's Joker B. Check us out. It's Joker B.
I'm just so fresh, so clean. And I promise you, we did not team up with the Android people. I don't know what that was all about. Good morning, Baton Rouge. It's it's kind of a gloomy day here in Baton Rouge. But that's why you got us to bring y'all a little sunshine here on 96.9 FM WHYR-LP Baton Rouge Community Radio, and you are listening to the Louisiana All American Sports Show. Good morning. This is Eric Hatfield.
This is Joker P, better known as Gerard Piper.
And I'm Coach Perry Daniels.
Coming live from our nation's capital, and thank you for joining us on another fantastic Saturday on the best sports talk show in the nation. Well, we got a lot going on this weekend, if Mother Nature just plays along. Of course, we have our young people on the diamond who headed out to Lake Charles over the past few days. There was a very sturdy and strong Baton Rouge presence in the area. Some continued on, some did not, but we had in classes 5A through 2A, those four classes, we had four schools from the Baton Rouge area participating. Baton Rouge has just got talent, football, basketball, baseball, you name it. In class 5A, the big boys swinging the heavy bats. We still have a representative, Catholic High, Baton Rouge, the number 2 overall seed, advanced. They were in a nail-biter against Brother Martin yesterday afternoon. They advanced on a 1-0 final score. They will play the Battle of Lake Charles is on the other side between Sulphur and Barb. Sulphur will not have the home field presence at McMurray Park, but Barb from right down the road will. Catholic and Barb, they both face off today at 5 p.m. That's on Field 41 if you're going to McMurray Park in Lake Charles if you want to catch up on that action. In Class 4A, I want to be like Mike, because St. Michael the Archangel has been just had a great year athletically. It did come to an end, though. St. Thomas More brought the hammer down on them. 12-2, they called that off in 6 innings on Thursday. St. Thomas More will play Turling's Catholic today at 2 o'clock on field number 41. And in Class 3A, PVB, the Shrine on Airline, they just keep cranking them out. Another school that just has excellence both in the classroom and on the fields of play, and they advanced past Evangel Christian. They nipped them 5-4 last night, and they will play that juggernaut John Curtis that snuck past Iowa. Curtis, the number 2 overall seed, and PVB seeded number 5 overall. That game will be at 6 o'clock. That's the last game of the tournament. That's on field number 40 at McMurray Park. And finally, our last Baton Rouge area representative, Doyle, they fell 6-1 against Kinder yesterday afternoon. Kinder will play Oak Grove for the championship. That's at 3 o'clock this afternoon on field number 40. So we still have a couple irons in the fire in Baton Rouge. Good luck to Catholic High School. Good luck to Parkview Baptist. And let's pray for the best of weather and health for these children out here playing today in the state tournament. The State Farm, LHSAA, All-State, heck of a sponsor making these tournaments possible. So, guys, before we move on to our bigger...
Hey, Eric.
Yes, sir.
Not only should we send a shout-out to All-State, who sponsors that, but the town of Sulphur, they just do an excellent job of welcoming in this traditionally non-revenue generating sport at the highest level. So I want to give a big shout out to the people of Sulphur and the people that are from Sulphur. We see what you do and we appreciate it.
Yeah, they put on one. They really do an excellent job. Really, that whole area does an excellent job. Of course, the basketball finals, which we brought to you heavily on Louisiana All American Sports.com. Lake Charles, right outside of Sulphur. Of course, Joker and I were there.
Oh, yeah,
very welcoming, friendly people in the city of Sulphur.
Yes,
really nice, friendly people.
Oh, yes.
With some stuff to do there. So yeah, absolutely, Perry. I completely concur with that shout out. To our bigger participants on the diamond are older young people, if you will. The college level, I got to tell you, man, it's what can I say? Baton Rouge knows how to crank them out.
Yeah. Okay.
The old human jukebox, man. I don't know where you're going to put the human jukebox in the stands, but they ought to be they'll at least be in the outfield bleachers or something.
Yeah. Dude, they came out with Mayweather, man. You know Mayweather had him. Come on.
Boy, I'll tell you what, Mayweather was money, and the baseball team, diamonds are one of the most precious stones in the world, and the Southern Jaguars have been money on the diamond. We've watched this team just take a little baby step all year. We told you the story over and over again. If you haven't joined us recently, or this is your first time joining us, the Southern Jaguars baseball team, they were missing a key component in Coach Fernando Puebla, kind of your operations guy, and you saw that the team just fall to pieces last year, especially in the pitching department. And Coach Puebla, who is from Venezuela, he got his immigration stuff together. He's been back in the saddle since earlier this year, and the Jags have rebuilt in little pieces. We watched them kind of get off to a rough start this year, be kind of fair, middling and swag play, and they've taken off. And the tournament time, the postseason time, is when it counts most because the Jags are on fire. They put a hurting on Jackson State not once but twice in the tournament in New Orleans at Barrow Stadium, and now they sit comfortably in the championship bracket, which will be broadcast tomorrow at 2 o'clock on ESPNU, as they will play the winner of their arch rival Grambling State or Texas Southern, which has had, frankly, a very successful run in swag play in all of the major sports of late. Grambling and Texas Southern will face off today right after the show, actually, at noon, and Southern will play the winner. Southern was the number 2 overall seed. Grambling the number 3 seed. Texas Southern number 1. I don't remember the Texas Southern much of that series this year. I know they played, but I know Southern's had its way with Grambling this year. So go Tigers, so we can go Jags.
Absolutely.
and speaking of Tigers, LSU.
Hold on. Before we make that transition, let's talk a little bit about Southern's victory over Jackson State. In the bottom of the ninth, the Southern Jaguars scored the game-winning run to propel them into championship Saturday. They lost to Jackson State twice this year during the regular season, and it is just amazing. They went down in this game. They were down at 1.5-2 in the semifinal game, and to come back and win at 6-5 in dramatic fashion, bottom of the ninth inning, is just really a credit to their program. And it's good to see the Jaguars back where they belong, challenging for SWAC championships in baseball.
Yes,
Other great news from the Bluff, the Southern University Jaguar Athletic Department has had its postseason ban lifted.
Oh, good.
Wow, that's what's up.
Good.
When you got that news, Perry? When that happened?
Hey, man, I received the news this morning. I believe it transpired earlier this week, Thursday or Friday.
Yeah.
You know what? We've got to give big props to the head basketball coach.
Coach Roman Banks.
Coach Roman Banks, he stepped in as interim athletic director, and he got the job done.
He made it happen. Kudos.
He made it happen. He did whatever was necessary. The ban is lifted. It doesn't speak very high to our good friend of the show, Dr. Broussard. But it does speak highly of the board at Southern University, who recognized that there needed to be an adjustment in order for them to accomplish what they needed accomplished.
Great call right there.
Yes, it's done, and we are back.
I'm in agreement with you, and you know, I mean, I all that bureaucracy and all this stuff, I don't understand. That sails way over my head. But like you said a minute ago, whatever had to be done finally got done, and I'm glad it got done because now Southern, you know, they're gonna if they can just eke out a win, or not eke out a win, just get a win tomorrow. They're going to the big dance, and that's
big.
No,
it's a little too late for the baseball team.
Oh, is it really?
To affect fall
next year.
Okay.
Next year.
Hey, baby steps.
But still, yeah, baby steps, man. I just want to say kudos because you're right. Because some organizations, they still go with the, like you said, the bureaucracy or the political, and it's hard for them to make change. You know, people have connections, and it's all about who you know. But for them to put that guy in there, and they saw, and he made it happen. So, man, big ups to Roman Banks, man, you know.
Hey, getting it done.
That's what's up. We back in it, Perry.
Yes, sir.
We back in it.
Yeah.
All right. All right, we ready to head across town?
Yes, we are.
Okay, so speaking of Tigers, not the Grambling Tigers now, but the LSU Tigers. LSU is wrapped up. They wrapped up a share of the SEC West with their win last night against the South Carolina Gamecocks at Columbia. Beautiful stadium, by the way, if you ever want to take a road trip. But anyway, they beat them 9-2. So they've split the first two games of the series. The rubber match is tonight at 7 o'clock. That will be on television on the SEC Network and on the radio on 98.1 FM. That's Eagle 98.1. LSU can wrap up the Western Division in its entirety with a win tonight. And they're still certainly not out of it in fact, they're in the driver's seat for the number one overall seed in the SEC baseball tournament. They're still ranked number one in the nation. So, you know, look, LSU has a shot. Last year, I'm just going to hold myself together because last year I thought they had one of the best regular seasons in SEC tournaments ever, and I thought they were going to coast to Omaha, and that did not happen. So all I'll say is that LSU controls their own destiny. They got the pitchers they need, and they have the bats they need. They can look at themselves in the mirror to dictate how far they go this season.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that in the past we all known LSU to have a very good history of getting to the Omaha and doing good in the tournament. But in recent years, they haven't lived up to the expectation. But this year, from what I've seen, they got the phenom freshman that they got pitching.
That kid's an animal.
Man, he is. He's a beast. So good coaching. So, hey, it shouldn't be everything is on them, exactly like what you said. So we'll see what happens.
So I don't know about you. Yes, sir.
Is the season a disappointment if they don't make it to Omaha?
I think so, Pat. I think they have to at least make it to Omaha for two reasons.
Ranked number one.
Yeah, not only that. I mean, you know, last year I thought they looked great in the regular season, but they weren't ranked number one the whole year. They've been ranked number one almost all year. I think they fell to 3 at one point and came back up. So they've been at the top of the food chain all year. They have a record of 13-3 on the road. That is insane in SEC play because most of those going away games are conference games. It's a bitter disappointment, especially after last year when they really let it slip in the regional. So yeah, it's Omaha bust as it usually is. And so anyway, we are a radio station, and of course, being a radio station, even though we like to talk, we got to play a little music. Real quick reminder before I turn the reins over to Joker, I'd like to remind you we are a community radio station. We aren't driving around on 22s, anything. We do this for the love of community, the love of sport, the love to make our voices heard and to help those in the community be connected. That can't be done, is not possible without support of this radio station. Please, if you like listening to WHYR, Baton Rouge Community Radio, please log in to WHYR.org and donate. We are on the air because of donations. That's how we stay on the air. Hey, you can have a recurring donation of just $9.60 a month. Hey, if you're like me and you don't know where that next nickel's coming from, hey, no problem. You can donate as much or as little as every nickel helps. So WHYR.org, $9.60 a month to hear the likes of us every Saturday on the radio.
That's highly appreciate it. I want to thank you also. And hey, like us also on Facebook. We have a Facebook page, Louisiana All American Sports Show. You can like us on Facebook. And like he said, I'll piggyback what Eric just said. Hey, we do this for the love. And man, it's a great atmosphere here at WHYR. It really supports us, and we support them for all that they have done. And with that being said, now today is going to be one of my old school artists. I'm going to go to the West Coast. And this song here pretty much says it all. So without further ado. Yeah, without without further ado.
Without further ado, and coming up on the other side, we will have a lot of talk about that action on the hardwood. It's getting dramatic. It's getting real. It's the best time of year if you're a basketball fan. You know, it really starts to turn up, and we're starting to see, like we get every year, the drama and action of the playoffs, while the magic of the World Wide Web is catching up to Joker's computer. I'll tell you, we're going to talk about that basically a preview of the Eastern Conference Finals now. That match is set. The Cavaliers and Hawks will start on Wednesday. The Washington Wizards were bumped out in perhaps the cruelest of fashions last night, although at the same time, the truth still showed why he is still the truth at age 30 or 37, however old he is. And then also in the West, we got just drama. Two series that really, or I should say a series that should have been over and done with, continues, and Ghost of Clutch City Past coming about from the city of Houston after that dramatic win. Or dramatic comeback, actually incredible comeback or meltdown, faceplant, however you want to look at it, from Game 6 of the Western Conference semis the other night. Joker, we need to
it's coming up.
Shift it in high gear there, or what's going on?
I'm getting ready to get it. You know how some of the time you get the buffering and doing all this stuff here. You know what I mean? But I just do it.
Hey, well, while you're working on that, man, let's say we lost an
that's
icon.
it right there, baby.
Crack it up.
We lost an icon this past week.
Coach, we got it.
Okay.
Now check this out.
To survive, trying to stay alive.
In about the ghetto.
Wow, man. Powerful song.
Boy.
You like that, huh, Coach?
I love that, man. It's so appropriate. It's so heavy. Too Short. He didn't often get profound, but he did.
Right. That last sentence sums it up perfectly about Too Short.
Right. Exactly. You're exactly right.
We're gonna give that tribute to the Golden State Warriors. Stephen Curry. They have made it to the semifinals for the first time since the mid-'70s.
Yep.
And Too Short, who got his fame in Oakland, he's actually a Louisiana-born person, but Golden State area, Oakland, California, that is where he made his name, so that was a very appropriate song.
Yes,
let's talk NBA, fellas.
And look, the National Basketball Association. Of course, the news keeps on rolling as teams leave the playoffs. Finally, it's come down to it where the New Orleans Pelicans have finally decided to part ways with Coach Monty Williams. Monty Williams, of course, had been there.
You're applauding that.
Monty Williams had been the head coach of the Pelicans for 5 seasons. Of course, he was put in place by Jeff Bauer and the former management before the NBA took over the team, and Dell Demps was placed in charge. And it was, I think it was time to part ways. I agree personally with the decision. I think Monty was a guy that pulled that team from being in the trash heap, quite frankly, after Chris Paul left, to being competitive and having a pulse and being a team that can do something. But I don't think he's the guy to bring him to the next level. And the microcosm of this entire season was Game 3 of the first round of the Western Conference playoffs, in which the Pelicans blew a 26-point lead and on their way to being swept.
Can we say choke?
Yeah. No,
they pretty much choked in that series, and I think that was the nail in the coffin for Coach Monty Williams. I think him being outcoached by Steve Kerr, losing a 20-point lead, 17-point lead actually with 6 minutes to play. That's half a quarter.
It's remarkable. It's something you don't think you'd see for a long time.
In New Orleans, at home.
At home. With the crowd rocking. We have Pierre Pelicans on the hotline, actually. Go ahead, Pierre. Pierre? Oh, he's choking.
That Monty?
No. Oh, that might be Monty. Anyway, that was the Pelicans hotline. We got to get him out of here, get him some help.
I think that it's a bad situation. Monty Williams is an excellent coach. I agree with you both wholeheartedly regarding the Game 3 against the Golden State Warriors. let me say that that team has run through a lot of coaches and have staged those type of comebacks against a lot of other NBA coaches. Let me speak on Mark value, though. He commanded the respect of his team based on a peer-to-peer style relationship, which is where the NBA is going. As these millennials are now the stars of the NBA, they want a different type of leadership than just that, do as I say because I said it.
Right.
Leadership style. And Monty offers that. You know, he can talk their language. He's in the trenches with those guys, and yet his maturity is enough to where he's not one of them.
You know what?
He's part of them, but he's not one of them.
I totally agree. I think you hit something on the head. Sort of like reminds me of Kevin Ollie with the UConn Huskies, a player that the coaches, a player's coach. I think in Monty's example, I want to say like Mark Jackson. Like Mark Jackson started out with a great foundation, took Golden State a certain distance, and then he had superstars, but he couldn't really seem to get over the hump.
That was ownership.
I hate to say it, you know, because I really like Mark Jackson, to tell you the truth.
Me too.
I thought they was wrong for firing him, but now here comes another coach behind him. Takes pretty much the same team there in the conference final. So I see New Orleans, Monty Williams starting something, and he did great. He did good to bring them back into, you know, to be a possible contender and very competitive after they lost Chris Paul and lost a lot of players. You know,
David
we see a
West
lot of players. Yeah, David West. But now it seems Monty does have some he has probably the next superstar that's budding to take LeBron's place.
Exactly.
In a sense, to be able to take over the game. And so is Monty the real question? Is he better at being a college coach? It's like Avery Johnson. You know, I mean,
you know, and every coach, you have to build in your career. This was Monty Williams' first head coaching job. He's off that Greg Popovich coaching tree. Look, I agree with Perry. I think he's going to get another shot. I think he deserves another shot. And I think he's going to get better. He's going to learn from his experience. But I think this group right now there's a window that's starting to open for these Pelicans. And you look at some of the bad Eastern Conference losses they had, the hapless Eastern Conference losses they had this year. I mean, you know, some of the teams at home they lost to, and it was just head-scratching sometimes. The way this team could not get a ball inbounds out of a timeout late in close games. I mean, it was COACHING, and I think it's time for, I guess, maybe a heavier weight. You know, in the NBA, there are very few neophytes that get their teams to championships. You had Eric Spoelstra in Miami, but he had been with the organization forever, and he had the backing of Pat Riley. It's just really hard for newbies to get that team to the next level. David Blatt might get there, but look who he has in his corner. He has the best executive in the NBA who also happens to wear a jersey, and that's LeBron James. Right. So
did Eric Spoelstra.
He did, absolutely. LeBron. So exactly. So I agree with something Perry said just a minute ago, though. And I lost my train of thought. It made me think, Mark Jackson. It was actually Joker that brought up Mark Jackson. You know, he had a situation with ownership. You know, the Warriors, he did not deserve to be fired based on his box scores and X's and O's. The problem is he did not get along with the owner at all. The owner of the Warriors, of course, I believe is an openly gay man, and Mark Jackson made some comments before that. Before that happened, they were already butting heads on strategy and X's and O's. When you go to work every day and you don't get along with the guy in charge, somebody's got to go, and guess who that's going to be? It's not going to be the cat that owns the team. There's a situation like that in Chicago, from what, you know, the Chris Broussards, and there's a little rumor that, you know, maybe Tibbs could be heading down to the Big Easy. I don't know, man. And there's another candidate. Go ahead, Coach.
I think that would be an excellent hire.
Oh, God, I'd be thrilled. And, you know, you mentioned another person, although I think he might be tied up with contracts, but it's just college. But, Perry, I don't want to steal your thunder. There's another one, too. Perry mentioned something a few days ago.
Absolutely. In our production meeting, I mentioned to the guys that really that job should belong to Avery Johnson,
right?
A New Orleans native who has NBA coaching experience, has been successful at the NBA level.
Has a title.
Just so happens that, yes, he's tied up with another job of resurrecting the Crimson Tide basketball program, and he's going to do a wonderful job there.
Unfortunately.
So, see, we look at this thing as fans, and when you step back away from being a fan and look at this from a business, which is how Adam Silver and the rest of his cronies look at this thing, it is at a point to where they no longer need Monty Williams head coaching that team. What I mean,
Coach, you were making a point. You broke up real bad. Say it again. They don't need a Monty Williams.
They don't need a Monty Williams coaching that Pelican team, and this is what I mean. Because when the team isn't very good, then if you have African American leadership in an predominantly African American team, you still sell tickets based on that.
Right.
Now that the team is on the verge of being successful, you're going to sell tickets based on the product you put on the floor. You know, so you don't necessarily need, now you need someone that can take that team to the next level. Whereas when they were not competing for a championship, then now you need to fill not the playoff games, those are going to fill themselves. But that 82-game season when the African-American community in the city of New Orleans is looking for something to do and ways to spend their ancillary dollars, then with Monty Williams sitting on that bench, they feel a little bit better about going and spending their dollars on the Pelicans.
I see where I think I see where you're going with that, and you're right. It's one of those things where, you know, it's yeah, I agree. It's a team that has to be taken to the next level, and if Monty can't get it done, they're gonna somebody your Avery Johnsons, your Tom Thibodeau's. We've heard rumors about Calipari, Fred Hoiberg, somebody at that level who can give another infusion, if you will, of a different kind of experience, maybe push that team. I hear you. I hear where you're coming from with that, Perry.
Yeah, but I think that Tom Thibodeau is an excellent choice. He goes kind of perfect with that team. They already have a lot of offense. They're young, but they need defense. If the Pelicans can get defense, and Tom Thibodeau really is almost, his weakness really is
offense. Right? He's a defensive mastermind.
He is strictly defense. So if he comes in, I think he could be, you know, the extra piece that this team needs. And I think that if a franchise starts winning, if you win, and it doesn't matter really who the coach is, people will come out and see.
Especially basketball.
You got to win, but you have to win. If you win, then it just brings up the whole city.
We could be the Seattle Seahawks of the NBA. We already have the Bird as a mascot.
Right,
so, with Anthony Davis there, man, we could be ferocious on defense.
Well, I had someone else that wanted to kind of chime in, another caller with their opinion. Are you there, caller?
How you guys doing?
We're doing good. What's going on? You wanted to say something toward what the Pelicans are?
Yeah, I want to tune in with this Pelicans, which I was saying. I kind of agree with a lot what Coach was saying.
Is that BP? Who is that?
Yeah.
Okay, boss player.
I'm kind of like on the side of, I think if you're bringing in Mark Jackson, though, I think you need to bring in a guy. I think you need to get a higher end like Alvin Gentry or somebody that need to actually. I think it has to be a two-headed coaching monster down here in New Orleans. I don't think Mark can do it by himself if he was to come here. And that's kind of the same thing with Coach, Tibbs. I think if one of them coaches come to New Orleans, if you got the defensive side of it, it's going to have to be an offensive coach that's on that sideline, which is great, and they have a good name. Because if you look at Chicago, Tibbs, I think, was his only problem was that he had a great team. He just was lacking of scoring options for 4 or 5 minutes in each game. You notice the Bulls just didn't score.
I agree with you.
It might last for 6 minutes.
And if Derrick Rose was not on the floor, be it for injury or just taking a breath, you saw that offense grind to a halt, and he's going to need an assistant who, like you said, who's going to complement his defensive play. I mean, it's almost like, I kind of agree with you, kind of like, Rex Ryan, I'm just using a football analogy, he almost coaches like he has contempt for offense, the way he plays. Thibodeau's doesn't seem all that different,
And I think that's the same thing we've seen with the Bulls, we've seen with the Pelicans. They went in stretches where they, like you said about the East Coast, when they went on trips in Atlanta, they went on spurs where they just were scoreless, like for a long period of time. And I think if Chip was to come here, you would have to make a good hire on an offensive specialist coach. And I even heard him name the guy used to coach Phoenix and the Knicks and went on to LA. I don't think that's a good hire, but I think if you go with a defensive coach, you got to bring in something offensive because
Mike D'Antoni.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh,
he was Mike D'Antoni, but I think he's past this game now. But I think anybody from Calipari's name I've been hoping come, Mark Jackson, Chip. I would like to see every Johnson have a try. But if one of those guys come, it has to be one of them two-headed monsters with the coaching thing, such as a offense and a defensive coaching thing, because with the team we have right now, the guys scores, but those guys also go into droughts unless you're going to make some of that roster up. I think the Pelicans on their way. I think you just need to get Anthony Davis some help down there, and I wouldn't like to see one of them desperate trades. Let's get somebody down there. Let's let him go out there and do some recruiting.
I heard that.
Let's get him to go do some recruiting and see what he can do. Because we got to remember something. I don't care who we bring in as a coach. That guy ain't signed that extension yet. And he's not going to sign that extension until he finds out there's a delicate coach down there and they can win. If not, Anthony Davis going to be like Chris Paul. He's gone after a year or two.
Yeah, and I think, I'm pretty sure that Dell Demps is a pretty smart guy, and he literally, when I say he built this team from nothing, this dude waved his magic wand and made chicken salad out of you-know-what, and, I think he knows that Anthony Davis is the president and the emperor and the king of the New Orleans Pelicans' long-term plans on the floor. Boss Player, first of all, we thank you for listening, and thank you for your call also. Well, Perry, there was a series that went on that is still ongoing. The Eastern Conference Finals are sewn up, and one half of the Western Conference Finals are sewn up. But, and I think y'all know where I'm going with this. There's a series that Perry's had a particularly acute instance in, and I just makes me wonder.
People do for money. People do for money.
Yeah. Let's get it. Get it.
I could jam out that song.
Dollars. I got them dollars. Yeah,
Yes,
but
indeed.
anyway. Yeah, man. Hey, it's been a great NBA playoffs. I have to say that Eastern Conference semifinal between Chicago and LeBron James and Cleveland Cavaliers. The way it ended, it started out like it was two game winners back to back, and like it was going to be a tough series. But they actually blew them out with LeBron James having a bad game, Kyrie Irving not playing the second half. They've lost Kevin Love, and they still blowed out Chicago in Chicago.
It's the king.
And it just shows you the impact that LeBron James actually has. And I know a lot of people don't like LeBron James for some reason. Maybe because, I think it's so many people that just love Jordan so much, and he did so much for the game until people are still living like Jordan is still playing. Anybody that try to challenges him or you say is great, they feel a little offensive by it. But I think that the impact that LeBron James has, he goes to Miami. When he left Cleveland, they just went in the toilet. He took Boobie Gibson and who was it? Mo Williams.
And Anderson Varejão's still there. Actually, Big Z, Zydrunas Ilgauskas, and people. You see barely belong in the. Who are these people? And they made them into household names.
The one messing with his mom and all that.
Delonte West. Better have my donuts, Delonte, boy. But to your point though, Joker, you're right, man. That's how LeBron that game when he hit that game-winning shot to tie the series at 2 in Game 4. The switch went on, and it's like, okay, it's LeBron's taking over now, and he has. And this is, like you mentioned, you have Kevin Love out for the season. Kyrie Irving was out in Game 6. And the only, to the Bulls' defense, Pau Gasol, who was supposed to be a key part to give that team an offensive boost, he's been all but invisible the entire series due to, his shoulder, a hamstring.
Tristan Thompson, man, that youngster's been banging him up. That guy there is young.
He really took Pau out the series. He's leading
offensive rebound. He crashes the boards. And it almost seems like, what would have happened if they didn't really need Love. To me, if they would have kept Andrew Wiggins, which was the rookie of the year.
Yeah.
And the amazing way he's been playing this year. You know, who knows? I said it from the jump, though. Do not trade for Kevin Love, but just the name and the numbers he was putting up with a bad team. You know, he had never been to the playoffs. And I'm not saying he's not good. He is good. He's an all-star type of player. But I wouldn't have given up Andrew Wiggins.
I thought they mortgaged the future for the president. I mean, Kevin Love took kind of like with Miami that first year, and with they took a little while to kind of gel. Kevin Love was just starting to be that guy to do the dirty work that they kind of envisioned him to be when he got hurt. It was really an unfortunate.
He doesn't have defense, number one.
Right.
And I remember when Blake Griffin came in, he was saying like he was better than, but now it shows that everyone would take Blake Griffin way above Kevin Love.
Blake Griffin's approaching top 10 status now.
Right. But at one time he was with Minnesota, they were saying he was better. They were showing the double-doubles. He had more than Blake, and they would take him over Blake and this and that. But now ask everybody, who would you take? And you would definitely take Blake.
Agree. It's a matter of what Love. Does he want to be a champion? And if he does, he's in the right place, or does he want to be an individual star? I got to say, if I play basketball, I think athletes want to win. And I think Kevin Love is kind of fitting in there. I played the jam for Perry. We stole Perry's thunder. I'm sorry, man. We gotta reset that.
Yeah, run that back. Let's go back. Retro that back. I seen him. He was laying back in the cut. He let us get our rocks off or whatever, and we appreciate it. But we're gonna bring that back. Bring that beat back. Bring that back.
People do for my life. People do for my name.
Yeah. Go, coach. What you say now? It's your birthday.
I actually thought that we were going to discuss the series that is still live, and you all went in a different direction.
So we got a little carried away there.
Yeah, we got a little, razzle-dazzle, but I'm back,
Okay, so where should I go? Should I go to the series that's still live?
Yeah, that's your cue. That's our fault last time. That's your cue.
All right. So this doesn't surprise me.
Big disappointment.
These guys really have this thing wrapped up.
Oh, big disappointment.
And now they are in a one-game do-or-die situation. And I can't figure out why.
Yeah.
At times they look so good out there. They've got every position that they need. They just look like a championship team at times.
Right.
And then we see where we saw the last couple of games where no one can stop Harden.
And James Harden was on the. If you remember, when the meltdown happened, he was on the bench. Kevin McHale, I think, made the. Look, in championship pedigree, there's no substitution for it, and Doc Rivers has that too. But Kevin McHale realized all these balls are going to James Harden. James Harden can't win it by himself. They kept throwing him the ball and putting him in these low percentage situations. He set James Harden down and made them have to spread the ball around, and it worked. And then it really worked.
Well, to me, it's not about really James Harden. James Harden it's about the way the Clippers are playing, because they can still win if he goes off. It's just like Perry hit it right on the head, man. I don't know if it's a curse with CP3. I don't know what's going on, man. Like he said, this team is perfect. This team has every position. They got a big man. They got an amazing, one of the best point guards in the game. They got a top coach in the game. That plays, runs X and O's, runs out of bounds plays. And then these guys, but I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this about the Clippers, because it was just so disappointing for me and them guys to lose the other night. I'll say this for them though. If they come back and win this game 7 and beat Houston in this game in Houston, I'm gonna predict them to win the finals. And the reason why I predict them to win the finals, not only to go but to win, is because number one, I favored them to go because they beat the Spurs. And I figure if you can beat the champ, the Spurs, the way that they did, and they finally was able to kill the Spurs, because you had to actually kill them. Them guys always kept fighting back.
Yeah.
For them to go through that adversity, I felt like, well, man, they beat the Spurs. They can beat anybody if you can beat the Spurs. That's number one. If you can beat the Spurs, you can beat any team. Now, if they come back and go through this adversity with Houston, I think this should sharpen them enough to be able to beat anybody. That's just my opinion.
You mentioned curses. Go ahead. Go ahead, Barry.
No, I was just going to say, Joker, that to beat the defending champ, to win a Game 7 on the road, and then to beat the team with the best record in the season, I think calls for a character that these guys have not shown. These guys have not shown that type of character.
Right,
exactly.
They haven't, and that's why I said if they do, if they showed me the character to win this game 7, I don't know, man. It's to me, it's very very disappointing to me. I can't lie. CP3, I don't know. It looked like one game he'll really do some amazing stuff and show a lot of heart. In the next game, it's just. I don't know. I don't know what to say about this team.
The character you're talking about, Perry, appeared to be poking his head out as that after Blake Griffin face planted in Game 2, and the San Antonio series turned around. They looked like they were showing that. They looked like they were beginning to come of age. But you'd mentioned curses, Joker. Like you remember the thing about the Saints, how they had allegedly built the Superdome on an Indian burial ground. They took they didn't win a playoff game in the 20th century. I think the foundation of this present day Clippers team also has kind of a curse.
I'm a racist.
And I don't know if Steve Ballmer's acquisition of that team has really completely erased the stink of Donald Sterling. You look at what the Rockets have done. Kevin McHale, I mean, just very calmly said, okay, we're going to try this. And then all of a sudden the Clippers, they couldn't buy a basket. They could not buy a basket. They were trying these home run plays up and down the court. And it's like, okay, if you're up by 15, up by 10, you can maybe do that. When that league got down to 6 points, to 5 points, you got to get back to fundamental basketball. It's like they forgot how to play. And I'm going to make my own, since we're making picks here, you got to go to the Clippers on paper. And if you look at the first 6 games, they appear to clearly be the better team. I think they have more talent than the Rockets. But winning a Game 7 on the road, particularly in basketball, is relatively rare. It is very difficult. There was a period of 13 years between 1982 and 1995 in which no Game 7s were won on the road at all. It's that rare. For that reason, even though I think the Clippers are a slightly better team, I think the Rockets have the momentum. They're at home. They were the number 2 overall seed, and the momentum has completely swung their way. I'm actually picking the Houston Rockets in this one, even though I think the Clippers are better. I think they're going to win. I think they're going to their rear ends are going to show, like Perry was talking about, from that lack of character and discipline and everything, and maybe the Sterling curse. I think that was their chance. The Clippers let it slip in Game 6.
No, but you bring up an interesting point, Eric. I wonder if in the NBA prospectus to prospective owners, is it in there that if you purchase this team, then we'll make sure that your team gets to the conference finals. And we see that on the East with the Atlanta Hawks wrapped up in their controversy, their racial controversy last year.
That poor guy tried to hedge his bets, and they still kicked him out.
Hey, but that's a great point.
That was a cruel
iron. That's a great point.
I'll tell you that.
Both teams.
And look at what happened. Look at how that. Well, Barry, you're right there. I mean, you saw how that ended. Wasn't that strange? The
truth
turned into a lie last night.
Wow.
Hey!
I couldn't believe it.
And there are tears all over the nation's capital.
For those of you that might not have seen the game last night, or for casual fans, Paul Pierce, he's either 36 or 37, I keep forgetting, but just ageless, as he won championships in Boston and went to Brooklyn. They were very viable in Brooklyn last year, and now in Washington, with John Wall nursing that hand injury. There we go. Seashells by the seashore. There we go. Okay. Nursing that hand injury. Paul Pierce stepped up. He snatched away Game 3, and he's really, and it looked like last night he hit a three-pointer, or appeared to hit a three-pointer as time expired to send it to overtime. That ball was on the tippy tip of his fingers with 0.1 seconds left. It was waved off, and Washington is gone. And now it's another non-traditional team, Atlanta. Of course, Washington's been non-traditional in the last 30 years, but another non-traditional team advancing in the NBA playoffs. And you look in the West, and it's going to be potentially Golden State, who has not been there since, I think, 75, I believe, and the Clippers have never been to the conference finals. And you have in Cleveland, while, obviously LeBron's been there a lot, the Cavaliers have only, before the LeBron era, had never been that far. So you're seeing a different kind of NBA. The Lakers, not there. The Spurs, not there. The Chicago Bulls, not there. The Indiana Pacers, who had been in the Final Four a lot of late, not there. I mean, the Knicks,
Oklahoma City,
gone. OKC, gone. So it's a different look in the NBA playoffs this year.
It is.
Eric, do we have I Told You So segment this week?
We don't, because the only series that were settled late last night, and I got to say, last night I went out on the town. I'm getting a little older, so I don't get out as much as I used to. But yesterday there was a special guest in the city of Baton Rouge, and even Mayor Kip Holden welcomed him to the stage. And
who was it? Oh no!
I'm going down, baby. Your street in the rain. Come on.
Boom, boom. Ready to let it go.
Yeah, Nelly brought the Lou and the Saint Lunatics, and it was like the dirty goons, I think was his entourage. And I got to see Nelly last night. He was downtown on Mayfair Street. Mayor Kip Holden was there. There was this dude from the Kardashian show that all these little young girls were snapping pictures of. I don't know his name, but he was on the stage.
Oh, Scott Disick.
That's it, Scott Disick. That's his name. And it was one.
On the bus, did you, Eric? You didn't get on the bus.
I didn't get on the bus. I did get a picture though of his limousine as he was on the way in.
Yeah, he didn't get on the bus. He just jogged alongside.
Yep, I did get a picture of the limousine. But anyway, so yeah, after that concert and with the games being decided late, I just didn't have the time for a decent I Told You So. We'll be back next week, though, as these series will all have been decided.
Yeah, boy.
No problem.
And coming up...
Yes, there you go.
Coming up in about 10 minutes, we have
Noel Jackson
with Music Satisfaction here on 96.9 FM WHYR-LP, Baton Rouge Community Radio. Perry,
and earlier in the show, I started to mention that we lost an icon last week, 89-year-old out of Itabena, Mississippi, the same hometown as Jerry Rice.
Yes.
We lost the great B.B. King, and I'm sure that Noel will have fitting tribute to such an iconic musician.
Oh, you talk about a true legend, and a guy who, in the blues, he influenced so many different musicians. Even if you're a little younger, I mean, I'm only 40, so obviously his peak was before I was born. But I mean, he influenced so many musicians in so many ways and touched so many people. I was watching a tribute last night to him on MSNBC. There was Dionne Warwick, Patti LaBelle, and Gladys Knight all at the same time. And these are people that he influenced, that he helped bring up. This is the guy who sang with the president, did a duet. B.B. King was just a special guy, and it's a legend, and I have all the confidence. I'm pretty sure Noel's gonna have a little tribute to him.
Oh yeah, you better believe it. And you think about B.B. King, I think about Lucille. First of all, you talk about the Mount Rushmore of blues. B.B. King is definitely on the Mount Rushmore of blues, and it's been a lot of great legends that came through. He had a very long life. Was 89 years old. Lived a full life, battled diabetes did a lot for in the community for diabetics, and I'm sure Brother Noel is going to have a great tribute to him. And I want to also give kudos to Noel Jackson. He has a great show. You guys can listen in. He comes on right after the Louisiana All American Sports show, and big influence of mine. I've been knowing him for years. Great guy, him and his brother. And I just want to say hello to those guys, and man, love y'all. Keep up the good work.
And of course, there is basketball's in full swing. Great playoff games. Tune in tomorrow for that game. It's going to be on ABC at 2:30 our time. I think it's going to be one heck of a show. It's going to be a battle. And but there's one sport that I don't care what time, whatever season it is. You have football season has 4 seasons. There's preseason, regular season, postseason, and next season.
That's right.
And
that's right.
Already there's some news dropping down in the National Football League.
You better believe it.
Oh boy, the Super Bowl champions.
Man, it's kind of it's kind of hot in here. I'm feeling, I think they need to deflate a little bit.
I know, it's going to need to get some air blowing in here, and we need something, and I'll tell you.
Something going on. I mean, I don't, we have something up with my maybe I'll have to check on.
The winter wind is a pirate, a thief sipping Boston tea. The supermodel wife wears the pants as he swaggers arrogantly. His face is dimple-laden, his Uggs boots lined with fur. With his GQ smile and Bieber-like hair, a heartthrob the women concur. His wind whips through the trees and blows through alleys and halls. It's not a torpedo, hurricane, or storm, but the air let out from his balls. The winter wind is a cheater, a patriot's song he sings. He'll laugh and cavort, the truth he'll distort, as he flashes his ill-gotten rings.
We got Tom Brady to the rescue apparently because oh my goodness, the hammer finally came down in Deflategate and the drama. You know, the NFL just finds a way. I think they even they moved the draft to May. They have games on Thursday night. I mean, their goal is to dominate the entire sports calendar every day of the year, and they just unwittingly stole some of the NBA's thunder here as Tom Terrific got the hammer brought down on him in the Deflategate scandal. Of course, the Deflategate scandal was where the New England Patriots. It was found that there were deflated footballs at their equipment managers deflated footballs during the AFC Championship game. Ted Wells, independent investigator, highly respected attorney, launched an investigation, determined that Tom Brady was, I love this language, was quote, probably generally aware of what was going on. Vis-a-vis, he was responsible. He just didn't come out and say that because he didn't have the smoking gun. Tom Brady got the hammer brought down on him. He was suspended for the first 4 games of the 2015 NFL regular season. The Patriots, who it's like that joke in that what was that Medea movie where Shamar Moore was in it and I can't remember the guy's name. Anyway, there's one where the judge looks and he's like, they said, okay, Bobby and Whitney are next in court. What is this, repeat offender day? Well, I think that's what Roger Goodell said.
Medea goes to jail, probably one of those. But this is what I wanted to know.
Diarrhea.
Mad Black Woman. That was it. Yeah. What is this, repeat offender day? And here they are.
But I want to know, what do you think about, do you think it was the punishment was enough? What you think, Coach?
Well, no, actually, I think you're going to see the punishment reduced from where it is, from 4 games to quite possibly 2 when it's all said and done. The Players Union filed their grievance this past week to challenge the punishment. Here's the deal, though. This is my wheelhouse as far as coaching goes, football and quarterbacks. There's no way that Tom Brady did not know that football was regulation size. There's no way.
Yeah.
It's just not.
That's a tool of his trade. You know, all he had to do, I mean, look, it's not a secret. Everybody in every sport doctors their equipment as much as they can, and some go a little too far. Every quarterback in the league on that Saturday before make sure they get the balls the way they like it before turning it over to the officials. All Brady had to do from the get-go is say, I like my balls a certain way. I told him to get it right. I didn't check the pressure gauge. My bad. $25,000 fine as per the rules, and that's the end of it. He and his organization chose to make it into a federal case. They tried to be something they weren't, which were these golden boys, and they were not. And we all know they're not. This isn't the first rodeo as far as getting brought, shamed before the nation. And that's why they lost their first-round pick. Their fourth-round pick got fined $1 million. Brady suspended 4 games. Roger Goodell. Ultimately, it's not the crime, it's the cover-up, and the cover-up looks bad on the NFL. And if I'm Roger Goodell, I'm not a big fan of, but I'm sitting in this man's shoes. I'm like, I've had enough. I'm tired of seeing you guys. Maybe this will teach you not to do it again. I bet you they don't do it again.
Well, I think he didn't come down tough enough on him. I think Roger Goodell, and of course we know about him and Bob Kraft are real good friends, supposedly this and that. But to me, this harms Tom Brady's legacy.
Sure.
We're going to be talking about this. And the more that he tries to deny it, it hurts him more. See, if he just would have went on ahead and just make any comment and say, hey, okay, then it might have would have brushed over. Number one, they're not really on him, as far as the media really is. As big as the story could be, they could be on him, but they love Tom Brady so much until they kind of trying to, they talking about it, but they're not really blowing it up like a Jameis Winston or something like that. Number two, I think the more he talks about it, the more it looks bad on him. Because we've heard this before with Armstrong, Lance Armstrong. We heard this before with people that come out and deny Alex Rodriguez, the other A-Rod. We've heard this before. So to him getting up there and trying to act like, oh, I didn't know and all that, this just making you look more worse,
and
man.
It's a misdemeanor
come on,
offense.
man.
Why not own it? Why not just say,
hey,
what? Every quarterback wants his balls the way they want.
Or don't say nothing. Just say, okay, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? One game or whatever. But now since since they called the tuck rule, you know, he's had pretty much every Super Bowl, maybe except for one, that it was some questions, you know, that he's been questioning, and it's just not a good look. And I just think in history, even though he has the rings to show, but is he always going to have that asterisk in a sense, or hanging over his head with, or they was cheaters, or he always did this? He is the greatest, but
he ain't Joe Montana.
Has this, right?
He ain't John Elway.
Exactly. You know what I mean?
And what about that nonsense? Did you? Real quick, just you see the rebuttal to the report the Patriots let out where they said the text message where the equipment manager said that he was deflating. He was trying to lose weight. Get the front door. For shiggity and for sheezy. I'm going to go to the gym and try to deflate right now after the show. Give me a break. Give me a break. Perry?
Right, that's crazy.
Well, if he comes back next season and leads the league in interceptions due to heightened awareness of the football side, then we'll really question whether or not he is deserving of the accolades that he's received.
I mean,
if he comes back next season off of the suspension, and we are assured that the football is regulation size in every game, and they make it to the AFC Championship, then this will just be a blip in the road on their way to immortalizing this man.
You know, and look what happened the last two times. The year after the Tuck rule, okay, 2 years later they go back to the Super Bowl. You look at what happened with the Spygate. Well, that next year they start off 18-0. You know, this guy can. Look, he's a great quarterback. He's a great player. I think I can't stand him as a fan, so I'd love to throw some dirt on his grave, but I'm not a fool. I mean, I don't think that whatever he did with the balls made any difference. I think that's what makes this. It's the intent. It's the intent. We got 30 seconds, so let's probably wrap it up. Joe, you got anything?
Man, it's been a great show. I'm glad to be here with you guys. You know, get ready for Noel Jackson. Peace out to all the listeners out there. To my mom, to my daughter. Holla.
Coach?
Hero of the Week, Michelle Obama. Outstanding job at Tuskegee University.
Wow.
We were proud of you.
10 seconds.
Go ahead.
ADP, JNS, love you.
Have a good afternoon.
Yeah.
Hail to the king and lots of love. May he protect us from the evil. Hail to the king, lots of love. May he protect us from evil.